Hello, my name is Beverley. I just wanted to talk to us today about mental health. It seems like life's been changing just recently for all of us, and that can make us feel anxious, stressed, worried, sad, lonely, bored, or even frustrated. But remember, it's okay to feel that way. Each of us reacts differently to situations. But remember, this is a temporary situation. We will get over this and difficult feelings will pass. So what I wanted to do was just look at some ways that we can help our mental health, our well-being during this time. Not only just due to coronavirus, but at all times, how we can improve our mental health. So what is mental health then? Or simply put, it's about the way you think and the way you feel and your ability to deal with ups and downs. We all have times when we feel down, when we feel stressed, anxious, frightened, but these feelings pass and then we bounce back. It's just sometimes when we do have a serious mental health issue, and if we suffer a bereavement or breakdown of a relationship, loss of a job, we don't bounce back so easily. So really, what can we do to help our mental health? First thing is, we know that mental health, there can be a stigma about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's that elephant in the room, as they say. So the first thing really, if we're looking at ways of helping, is to talk about our worries. So just start a conversation with somebody. So we're not saying we're going to sit down and say to somebody, I've noticed that you're feeling a bit down or worried. Just start a conversation. How are you doing today? How's it going for you? Talk to them. Not only does it help them, it might help you as well, because then we see that we're all perhaps feeling the same way. So just have a conversation. The thing is as well, sometimes we don't know quite what to say, where to start, or what to do in all of this. And there's lots of help out there. There's lots of helplines as well. There's so many helplines I could give you, but mainly, if you wanted to go online to look at mental health, just look at mental health helplines. Google that, and it'll take you to where perhaps you can look and see where you need to be. So just start a conversation, talk. The second thing to say is about mental health is staying on top of difficult feelings. So we know that we all experience anxiety and stress. It's part of our life. In fact, stress is really helpful, and anxiety. If we're walking down the road and there's a bus coming, hey, our stress means, look, I need to be careful here. We step back and keep ourselves safe. So stress is normal. The thing is, when we get overstressed and over anxious, that is not good for us. It increases our blood pressure, and we know then that can lead to heart problems, the stroke, to kidney problems as well. So we need to control our anxiety. So I really want to say a bit about being anxious, really. It's normal to feel anxious. But our thoughts, our feelings and our behaviour, they all actually influence each other, and they can be negative. And then it becomes a vicious cycle. But we can influence that process. What we need to do sometimes when we're going into a negative thinking or cycle is actually to recognise it, to challenge it, and replace that thought. What we call catch it, check it, change it. So remember that. Catch it, check it, change it. Let me just explain that a little bit more. Perhaps you've been asked to do a difficult task at work and you're convinced it's all going to go wrong. Everyone's going to think you're a failure. So, rather than accepting that thought and making yourself feel worse, take a moment to catch it and check it. Ask yourself, is there any good evidence for this? Or is there another explanation? Try to think about what you would say to a friend, or what a friend would say to you if you started having negative thoughts. So see if you can change that thought for a more positive one. So, for example, if you've been asked to do that task at work, think, well, I'm prepared for it. I've put a lot of work into this, and I'm going to do my best. So you can see you can change that negative thought to a more positive thought. There's no right or wrong answer about learning like this. What we're doing is learning to think more flexibly and being more in control. So remember to catch that thought, check it and change it. So what we're doing is we're practicing changing a negative thought to a more positive one. And it's a good cycle to have. And look at coping with anxiety websites if you need to. But remember that phrase, catch it, check it, change it. So change our thoughts from a negative thought to a more positive one. We can do that. That will help our emotional well-being. So things have changed for a while, and we need to plan for practical things. First thing is, if we're working from home and perhaps we're not getting out, that can affect our mental health. Now, what we do need to do is continue to access any help that we have. Any physical or mental health problems are still being dealt with. So still remember to contact your GP. If you're on regular medication and need regular prescriptions, make sure you've contacted your GP or your pharmacy. Can you get these things delivered? Is there a delivery service? The thing is as well that you might be a carer for somebody else. So again, we have to think, how can we care for that other person? We can contact our local authority. How can I make sure that my mum or my relative or whoever we're looking after is cared for? And of course, if you are working from home, make sure you've contacted your employer. Look into any sickness pay and any benefits. This will be really beneficial for you. Now, we've got to think about our routine as well, because life has changed for a while. So there's going to be disruptions. There's already been disruptions to our normal routines. So think about how you can adapt and create a more positive routine. Set yourself goals. If you're a person that likes to write down lists, write a plan for your day, for your week. In the mornings, get yourself up, get yourself changed, get yourself dressed, have your wash, your shower, read, pray. Do what we need to do as normal. Make up your bed, tidy the house, and sort of get yourself dressed. Don't lounge about in your pyjamas all day. Because routines have changed, but we need to just stick to a normal routine and sleep as well. We'll talk about that in a moment. So have times of stopping. If you are working from home, have a set time to start, have a cut-off time, have your usual break, have time for a little nap if you need one, but don't work all day. Have a cut-off point. So stay connected with others as well. So maintaining healthy relationships with people we trust is really important. And I know these days we can't get out as much as we can. I know guidelines are changing, but think how we can keep in contact with our friends, whether it's through social media, making a phone call, sending an email, a video chat, so many different ways, but stay connected to others as well. And think about how nice it's been, how you felt when somebody's given you a call or sent you a little message to say, how are you? So staying in contact with others, people you trust, is very helpful. And supporting others as well. Try to understand that other people's concerns and worries as well. So think about their concerns and worries. You know, is there a friend or a neighbour, somebody that you can help? We can help vulnerable people. Are there community groups that you can join and be a part of, like Open Doors Forum, which is attached to the church, the All Nations for Christ Church? Remember, it's important to do any contacts in line with our government rules and safeties. So really at this time, it is a time where you can think, well, what can I do for somebody else? Remember that phrase, was it one of the American presidents says, don't ask what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. And we know that the Word of God as well also says that, it's more blessed to give than to receive. So think at this point, at this time, what can we do to help other people? It's important at this time as well, or all of the time in maintaining our mental health, is to look after our body, because our physical health will have an impact on how we feel. And at times like these, it's easy to fall into unhealthy habits. But remember to still keep eating as healthy as we can, drink plenty of water, and take regular exercise. Thankfully, that is something that we can do. Avoid smoking if we can. And as for alcohol, we can take a little alcohol, but remember the guidelines. It's 2 to 3 units per day for women, and 3 to 4 units per day for men. So just think that as our body needs nutrients as well, our brain needs nutrients as well. So we do need to eat healthy, take plenty of exercise, get that oxygen going round to our tissues and to our brain as well. Another important tip, it's really important to look after our sleep pattern. So good quality sleep makes a big difference to how we feel mentally and physically. So it's important to get enough sleep. And it's really important to establish a regular routine as well. So let's have a look at sleeping. So sleep improves our mood, it makes us more productive, and it helps us to concentrate as well. So what we should do is maintain a good routine. So go to bed at the same time, and that regulates your body. It makes you go into sleep mode, makes your body easier for falling asleep. So before you go to bed, read a book, listen to music, relaxing music, perhaps not a violent film. Avoid caffeine and sugar a few hours before you go to bed. Instead, have a milky drink or perhaps a herbal tea, because we know that it has good relaxing properties, a herbal tea. So try not to keep checking your phone, at least for an hour before bed. Limit your screen time, and that allows your brain to go into sleep mode. So turn your clock away as well. Don't keep checking the clock and looking at what time it is. Remember to have an environment that's easier to sleep. Darkened room, you can use an eye mask, earplugs if you need to, and draw the curtains. So make it more an environment where you can sleep. And if you really can't sleep, then actually get up, perhaps read, and perhaps listening to some relaxing music. But sleep is really important. Another way of helping ourselves mentally is to carry on doing the things we enjoy doing. If we're feeling worried and anxious, we get low, and then we don't want to do those things. But if we focus on our favourite hobbies or activities, that can help us as well. That boosts our self-esteem and it changes our mood. So do the things we like to do. Continue with those hobbies. We're all very unique and special. There's things that we're really good at. Continue to do that. At this time, there are free tutorials and courses online for you to join. So have a look, take advantage of that. So look at our hobbies. Learn a new language. Is there a language you want to learn? Read a chapter of our Bible every day. Read a chapter of any book. It gives us a sense of achievement as well. Is there a musical instrument you've wanted to learn to play? The gardening are the jobs that you've been putting off. So there's lots of things you can do. Do things that you enjoy. It boosts your self-confidence and helps your esteem as well. Another way of helping our mental health at this time or any other is to stick to the facts. So there's lots of information that we're being given, but find a credible source of information. Now gov.uk or NHS websites, these are credible sources of information. So be careful of where we're getting our information from. try not to share inaccurate information with others as well. It won't help us and it won't help them. You might want to consider just how often you're watching the news. Do we need to watch it every hour? Do we need to, perhaps we need to cut off those updates on our phones that come through that don't always bring good news. Yes, we should be listening to the news, we should be knowing what's happening, but limit how often we're doing that. So set a specific time to watch the news. So remember, look for credible sources, gov.uk or the NHS websites. So having said that, then, just to finish off, just to go through all those things that we've just looked at, just to conclude. So how to maintain our mental health and well-being, staying at home or at any time. We need to establish a good routine every day. Don't just get up and think, what now? Shower, shave, get dressed, make up your bed, have breakfast, read, pray. Don't just sit around in your pyjamas. All of doing that promotes our self-dignity if we look after ourselves. Do is have regular meal times. Eat healthily, drink plenty of water, do exercises. Remember, we can go out and exercise, perhaps listening to music or watching some TV, having a nap. So do things that we like. The other point we said was to stay connected with people. So through phone calls, video calls, everybody's been Zooming recently, it's a really good way, but stay in contact. Spend some time with those in your household, those that you love. Spend time with those people. Remember to support others as well. Look at community groups. What can I do for somebody else? You might feel all right, but how can we help others? Feel prepared if we're working from home. Make sure we've contacted our employers. Make sure we've looked into benefits. Remember, it's really important to talk about how we're feeling. Remember the phrase, we need to catch it, check it, and change it. So how are you feeling? Talk to somebody about things. Remember, we don't need to be watching the news every hour, but keep ourselves updated with credible sources. Talk about your worries, we've said. The other thing to say is focus on what you can do and changing your mindset. Instead of thinking we're stuck at home and when will this end? Think I'm safe at home. So again, we're changing our mindset. The other things we said were to do things that you enjoy. Remember your hobbies, taking exercise, because it's boosting our self-esteem and changing our mood. Think about what you can do when all of this is over. Make yourself a list. Think about those things, people that you haven't seen. What can we do? So thank you very much for listening today. As I say, stay safe, stay well, and hope these points have helped in maintaining our mental health and well-being.